Hi, welcome to Photos with Frank, where we take interesting people and put them into their favorite things. I'm here with Anthony, also known as FIRERIN, one of the premier cosplayers in Flesh and Blood. How's it going, Anthony?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Doing great. Glad to be here.
yeah, we originally met at Baltimore, and I
Hmm.
actually saw you in New Jersey. That's an interest. I saw you at
Yeah.
Jersey, and you were Cavdine, right?
Yeah, so I was cabding there. And yeah, that was fun. I couldn't see anything because I didn't have my glasses on. So I was like, even if we did meet up in close, I'm like, cool, if you weren't like this far away from me.
I think, yeah,
I
I
was,
think I mostly saw you in passing there, but yeah, it was just I actually got to take a picture with you in Baltimore, which is really cool, and then I got to use it for
Hmm.
my Photoshop series, and then I had to like track you down to get permission
Yeah.
since that was something that was important to me, and yeah, and then we met from there. But yeah, you've been doing a lot of really cool cosplay, and we're gonna get right into it. But your favorite card that you've brought is Promise of Plenty, right?
Yes, promise of plenty.
So in like a minute or enough time for a YouTube short,
Yeah.
can you give me a little breakdown on why it's your favorite, just like what you enjoy about it, what makes what draws you to the card?
Yeah. I mean, few quick reasons. It's one of those cards where I feel like you never have a bad interaction with it because it makes your opponent think they're like, oh, do I really want to let this hit? Do I want to get possibly stuck with something in my arsenal? Um, and that's create a lot of fun stories which we can talk about. But then also it's one of those cards where it's like it enables so many combos in the game where you're like, oh, do I want to go infinite with Briar? Cool, promise of plenty. Here we go. And
Yeah,
then yeah, it's just thematically fun.
yeah. The art is also gorgeous, and
Yeah.
I have lost to this card so much, and
Oh,
it's so simply because I every single time I'm like, yeah, I can take the damage because I want a card
yeah.
in Arsenal, and uh, yeah, it's got a really good win percentage against me specifically because I just always want to draw the card. Um,
Yeah.
it's very fun.
I
It's
mean,
very sneaky like that, but
I
that's a
mean
really
that's why I
good
run it.
card.
I was like, oh, it has 100% win rate against Frank, instant include
Yeah,
for that one in a million chance we're paired against each other.
that was one of my close friends, Lachlan. They started playing Briar, and like they were playing around. I had built I think it was the Matthew Folks Briar list
Hmm.
had this in it, and they were testing with me, and I was playing like I don't know Viscerai or something, and I just kept losing very specifically to this card because I was just like, yeah,
Oh
I want the
no.
card, please give me the
Yeah.
card, and then I just very consistently would just they could utilize it better, or like they were pumping it so it was coming in for 6 and it had go again already, and uh I was just eating a ton of damage because I was like, I mean, it's a card though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's lost me a bunch of games because I've been like messing around with it in like any deck, and I'm like, I took it to one of the callings. I was like the Blitz calling with Benji, and I was like, cool, Benji's annoying. I'm running the two attack one, the one attack one, and I go against Valda, and I'm like, oh, so I'm going to play this and hope I get something bad in your arsenal because the person's like looking me down and they're like, did you really just play that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the damage. I have like 8 seismic surges, nothing in arsenal. And of course, like it puts a pulverize in there, like something that's just gonna blow me out of the board. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going home now.
Wow, have I really just reaped what I
Yeah.
what I sowed?
Yeah, I
Is
was
this
like,
really the consequences of my actions? Oh no. Yeah.
yeah. And then like the card that I get in arsenal is it's like, oh, you wanted that razor reflex in there. And I was like, no, I was hoping for anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very cool card, and like I mean, I actually I'm gonna have to shout out the artist at the end because this is just phenomenal. It looks like an oil painting, and I think it might
Yes.
actually be an oil painting, but like, yeah, I am just so impressed with it. It's really really picturesque. I've been photoshopping this and like looking at some of it, but yeah, I'm kind of just constantly distracted by how nice uh the background is. It looks so good.
Yeah, and then I feel like every time I look at it, there's like another detail I notice where it's like, oh, there's like floating hay bales or something there in the background, or they're doing something weird. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the thing. When you told me about this art, you said that like it seemed kind of simple comparative to the Runeblade stuff.
yeah,
But like the more I look at it, the more there's just weird stuff happening all the time. And I think
yeah.
that's really fun. Um, it is pretty exquisite art. I'm a
Mm.
big fan. But yeah, getting into it. So like cosplay is a really interesting part of the game that like I haven't had a lot of exposure to. It's something that is really cool, but like yeah, how'd you get into it, and what really brought Flesh and Blood into like your focus for doing a lot of the cosplay?
Yeah, no, of course. Been cosplaying for a little over a decade at this point.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, started, we were going to Phoenix Comic Con and my friends kind of baited me into cosplaying. They're like, "Oh, you have to dress up. It's your first one and everyone's going to be there dressed up and they're going to make fun of you if you're not in costume." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I have to now."
What did you
Uh, so
cosplay as?
so I went as a test subject from Portal.
Oh sweet.
Um,
Very cool.
so like made the portal gun, put like blue lights in it, got the orange jumpsuit, like put the Aperture Science like laboratory logos on it, and yeah, went, had a great time. Learned a lot about that where it's like weight was a very big thing with that cosplay because the portal gun ended up weighing like 13 pounds
Oh
because
wow.
I didn't take into consideration like the materials I was using. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have used that like clay that I was like, oh, this looks great. It's easy to use.
Yeah, the full clay.
No,
Oh
yeah,
goodness.
and then like my arms are like dying like an hour into it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need like a sling or something to carry this around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, then it just kind of like spiraled from there, where it started off as like video games I was into, where it's like, oh, Ezio from Assassin's Creed, Shaco from League of Legends, which was one of the photos I sent you there, and then
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay, so getting into like Flesh and Blood, and I was like, ooh, I love merchant characters. If I'm doing D&D, if I'm doing any kind of like role-playing game, I'm like, can I be the merchant? Can I be like the shady dealer that's gonna like sell fake health potions to people and then hopefully get away from the consequences down the line?
Oh yeah, and Cavdine really kind of embodies that. Even his gosh dang like border is like
Yeah.
body parts and stuff. Like he's so
Yeah.
shady.
Yeah. And that's like what I fell in love with. I was like, he was the first like Blitz hero that I was like, ooh, yes, this is what I need to play. I'm like, I probably won't win anything or like do great with him, but he was still a lot of fun. He like catches people off guard where you're like, oh no, your health is now mine. Or like, oh, I'm gonna get copper, you get copper.
Do you have a nice pair of silver palms?
Um, the card,
Yeah.
yes. The
Yeah.
actual palms, no.
Yeah. That I have been meaning to pick up one of those cards for a really long time because that card is like quite appealing to me. I don't really have an explanation why, but I think about it a lot for a card that I have no actual interest in ever really playing. I don't know. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but that card really speaks to me. It's
Yeah.
not.
I
What does it
mean,
do? It like makes a. It gives your
yeah,
opponent
so
a silver.
yeah, it's like start of their turn, if they have less life than you, they can like draw a card and then you get a silver. And
Yeah,
it's like
sick.
Blade Break 2.
Yeah,
Um,
hell yeah.
but I include it in like all my Taylor decks because I'm like I have to because I have the gold foil ones.
Oh yeah,
So I'm
wow.
like because right after I got in the Taylor as Kev Dean, went to the UPF that night and was like, all right, this is what I'm playing, and somehow made it out on top, which was thankfully also due to Promise of Plenty.
Really?
Because yeah, because there was four of us left at the table, and I drew into three Promises of Plenty, and I'm
Oh.
like, hmm, what am I gonna do with these? So I was like, all right, everyone, we're at a peaceful gathering today. I'm gonna give everyone the option. I rolled my scab skins. I got like a 5 or a 6 on it, and I'm like, cool, I have enough action points. Turn to the first person. Promise of Plenty. Will you take it? We get cards. And it's like next verse, like promise of plenty. Will you take it?
And you just chained it
And
all the way to victory, huh?
yeah, so just like chained it like across all of them, and like two of the three blocked it, where they're just like, no, I'm not giving you that advantage. And then of course like the one card I got in Arsenal was like a red razor reflex. So I was like, I'm gonna sit on that for a turn, and then was able to just like combo out for the final like victory. And I was like, there we go.
Yeah, sweet. That's a really good story, and I mean Taylor's a really interesting. Yeah, I had a Yorick, and I played with Yorick for a little while before my local group kind of banned it. We don't play a lot of UPF to start with, so it
Yeah.
wasn't really a big loss. Um, but uh, yeah, I can't even imagine what a Taylor gameplay is. You should make a deck tech. That sounds great.
Oh yeah, that could be fun.
UPF winning.
Yeah.
I mean, like it got you the gold foil, so there's something
Yeah,
to it.
everyone's gonna be like, why is this entire deck just like six promises of plenty, uh, random other cards that are just like play and draw, play and look at the top card of your deck. People are gonna be like, what was he doing?
The promise of plenty tech is sick. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
that you can get people onto that as a gameplay
Mhm.
method. If you make a video about it, people will try and copy it. That's part of the
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, I've been meaning to get more into like the content creation side of FAB because I'm like, I love the game, and usually most of the time I'm just throwing together whatever decks I can that, wake me up at 2 a.m. in the morning to like try to go have fun with, where I'm like, oh, but could this work? And I'm like looking at the different like card websites at 3 a.m. like, oh, maybe
I've
these combos can chain together.
Yeah, so you keep talking about combos in FAB. Is that kind
Yeah.
of what really draws you to a certain hero or a certain playstyle? Is like having those card combos and getting into it, or what do you actually like about like playing the game? What is the thing that really draws you to it? Like I can go on about
Uh,
chain in
yeah.
terms of what it means for me, but why? What kind of playstyle really draws you to it? Is it the combo aspect in
Yeah.
this game?
Uh, yeah. Combo or just like how hard can I meme with like a certain hero? Because
Yeah.
we have one deck where we're like, oh, it's old him, but in UPF, but the entire idea of the deck is you just gain life. So we're playing at UPF and old him sitting there up, 30 life on everyone else because he played Corsham and is now just like comboing out like pick a card, any card into Rejuvenates, into Sigil of Solace, or, Briar where you're like, all right, Fulminate, Force of Nature, and then just Promise of Plenty into Snatch, into all these other cards and just try and like 40 to 0 someone.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's one that I had before they banned Skeletta, and I'm like, oh, I see why this is banned.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, they've just fully today was the ban list for it, and
Yes.
yeah, it's finally goes from suspended to fully banned, which is something that like I
Yeah.
think we all expected, but
Oh yeah.
is a solemn farewell to that card. That card was so much fun.
Yeah.
I was playing Viz. I won a PQ on Viz with that. And I just
Ooh.
like it was so much fun. Getting to combo off some people was yeah, wild. Viz is
Yeah.
fun. That's actually so like literally as we're talking, I am photoshopping or I am editing a Viz photo of yours. What drew you about
Oh,
Viz?
nice.
Is it just like how cool he looks, or what
Yeah.
really
Um.
stuck out to you about like why did you choose certain cosplays? Like I know you did it with
Yeah.
Kevdeen because like you love merchants, but what was it about like the other kind of cosplay that you've done?
Yeah. So Phi was one where we were planning to go to like the world premiere for a while. So that one's kind of simple where we're like, ooh, new hero, let's go have fun. Let's, you know, do that. And, that's kind of when I was still like messing around with Benji a little bit, where I was like, ooh, a new ninja hero could be a lot of fun. Um, but at that time, also like Viscera had been my main in Classic Constructed. I jump around to different heroes way too often, which is not always the best, but it's one where had played him a while because the OTK really stood out to me where I was like, I just want a mass rune chance. And just watch the opponent as you're like getting past that like 10 rune champ mark into the 20s and they're just like, oh, how am I going to deal with this when you actually attack me?
The sweat visibly begins to form on their brow.
Yeah.
They start getting
Yeah.
nervous and their hands shake, and they start like getting
Yeah.
really aggressive in terms of their play. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is a special feeling when you like have the OTK plan against like something like Guardian. And Guardian decks are like, obviously incredibly powerful, but like they're not
Yeah.
necessarily designed, especially when OTK was around, to like actually be that aggressive and do that much damage.
Mhm.
So yeah, watching your Guardian opponent just really start to sweat as they try to like attack you for 7 and then you block it and then make 3 more rune chance was a pretty
Yeah.
satisfying experience for sure.
Yeah, so it's like that was a big point, and then also the entire like Rune Blade Arcanite aesthetic is just like top tier. Where I'm just like, ooh, Chef's Kiss. Like, I just love anything about those cards.
That's actually what got Hamish from Push the Point into it as well. Specifically Viserai
Oh,
being like a big old edge boy, which
yeah,
is really fun. Uh, I I mean, yeah, I also got into Runeblade. I got into Runeblade because of how it felt to play a little bit more
yeah.
than the aesthetic. But it is pretty incredible. It is pretty fun seeing uh, just like, I mean, from a flavor perspective, Runeblade truly does
Mhm.
have some of the best flavor. I think that's
Oh yeah.
not super debatable. I love it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so okay, and was Flesh and Blood your first like card game?
No, so I've been playing card games since about 2013. Card Fight Vanguard was my first, and then into Weiss Schwartz and Dragoborn. So kind of in the Bushy Road card game sphere.
Mm.
I got to be the. Oh, sorry.
I just had a tangent about Y Schwartz, but I'll let you finish and then I'll ask you.
Oh, alrighty. Um, I got to become the one and only world champion for Dragoborn before they killed that game.
Oh
So
wow,
basically, like,
congratulations.
yeah, went to Japan, won that tournament, and then they're like, "All right, so we're killing the game. We're not inviting you back next year." I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, wow. What? I've never heard of Dragoborn?
yeah." Dragoborn. It was like a Bushy Road property that they introduced for like less than a year, and they're like, "Cool, we made like 4 sets. Game is dying. Fifth set will come out like a month before Worlds. Good luck."
Oh wow. And you got all the way to Japan for it. That's very very cool.
Yeah, placed the second in the region. Also, they're like, all right, here you go. You can fly out if you want to fight at Worlds. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll go. And the game was so small because it was dying. So there's like 10 of us like fighting in Japan for like this world championship. And we're like, all right, cool. They put us at like the back table. Didn't even like stream any of our matches. They're like, all right, good luck. We'll bring you up on stage if you win.
It was 10 people at the final the final
Yeah,
game. Oh, that's really cool.
yeah, yeah. So it was a lot of
Stellar.
fun where it's like, there's people from like Germany and like other like European countries there, and it's like cool. Got to meet people from like around the world for like this really short, event.
Incredibly niche thing. Yeah, but that's like
Yeah.
half the fun with card games, right? Is meeting weird
Oh yeah.
people over your weird hobby, and
Yeah.
you go to weird places, and yeah, I had never
Mhm.
been to Baltimore before. The thing and the actual venue was like really nice and that, but
Mhm.
Baltimore as a city was just absolutely wild. Um,
Yeah.
there were like police sirens going 24/7 every 10 minutes,
Mhm.
just the whole 3 days I was there, and the food was good. That
Yes.
can't talk trash about the food, but yeah,
Yeah.
I had never been to Baltimore, and I don't think I will go back for a while at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. I
Um,
was like, maybe if there's another big Flesh and Blood event there. Otherwise, I'll stay over here.
yeah, yeah. Um, I have some family in Arizona, and so I do enjoy getting there. It is quite hot, which is not my favorite, but
Yes.
you know, that's fine. What I was gonna ask you, and I ask this about every Y
Oh yeah.
Schwartz player, is so there's a Pixar deck that exists in this game, right?
hmm Yeah, for Japan.
Yeah. And in this Pixar deck, I can have a legitimate like Ratatouille Toy Story deck, right?
Yeah.
Ah, that's so cool. I love that. I've been it is something I have no real interest in. I can really only like focus on half a thing at a time anyways. So Y Schwartz is not something that I'm going to like jump into, but
Yeah.
a part of me definitely wants to just own own the Y Schwartz own the Pixar deck cuz that's just so funny to me. I
I
love
mean,
it.
that's honestly the way to enjoy White Schwartz. Because like it's one where the biggest gripe that you hear from a lot of people is how like RNG reliant the game is, which I know is like one of our big reasons like moving to Flesh and Blood is we're like, oh, I have a lot of control over my actions here. White Schwartz, they're like, all right, good luck. We'll throw you to the wolves. You might take damage, you might not. Good luck.
Have fun. And
Yeah.
then yeah, you get RNG'd out of history. It's just like the idea of playing because what are some of the like prevalent games in? Can you have like a bleach deck in White Schwartz?
Um, I have
What?
to see if there's a Bleach set. I don't think there is one. But there's like Konosuba, Madoka Magica. I know they're making like a Spy X Family and like Attack on Titan.
Yeah, just the idea of imagining, hey, I've got Levi from Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
and he's he's gonna kill Dory from
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. It just like brings me a lot of joy. I just think that's really
Oh yeah.
uh pretty hilarious. Um, but yeah, that's what a fun situation. What kind of deck do you play?
So Konosuba was my main one that I took to the last like Bushiroad Championship series. But that was absolutely awful. I just brought a meme and I was like, I might do well, I might not. But now I'm running Avatar: The Last Airbender
There's an
because that just
Avatar
came out,
deck
and I
as
was like,
well.
yeah.
Sick.
So I'm like, oh yeah, Zuko can go, yeah, fight Dory if you want to, or be like, all right, he's gonna go melt the toys today from Toy Story. Good luck.
Yeah, God, those Woody from Toy Story. He's such a meta pick. Uh, you
Yeah.
meta slave. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Just so funny to me. I love it a lot. I've actually played a little bit like of the One Piece game, and
Hmm.
that game's actually really really fun. My biggest gripe about it is just very specifically that they the thing that they will do is they have all of the same names. So like, you
Yes.
know, there's literally like 12 Luffy D monkeys, and they're like
Yeah.
different colors. There's like characters which are your like creatures, and then there's also like leaders, and they're all Monkey D Luffy, and like the only way to distinguish it is very specifically through the like collector number, and it's just that's a frustrating
Yes.
experience. But the game
Yeah.
itself is quite fun, and they did a good job with it. Except for the scalping, I don't like that. But
Oh, the scalping's awful for it. Because yeah, that's another one that we've been dabbling in. I just put together a Nami deck from the new set.
oh yeah,
And I was
sweet.
like, and yeah, it's like set three, it's like it feels like stuff is calming down. But yeah, when we walked into our LGS and they're like, $150 for set one, we're like, isn't this like MSRP like 100 or less? They're like, nope, that's what it's going for. And we're like, ah, guess we
Yeah,
break out the wallet.
yeah. It is kind of a little bit of a frustrating thing, just being like, oh, I've you know, uh, I really like this game, but also it is a nightmare to actually try and get into. So you have to
hmm
really figure that out. But you know, it does seem like it's solving itself a bit. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So with the new set coming out, like, what are you planning on playing? What are you excited about?
Ooh, I'm like, I kind of want to jump back into like trying to get like Prism stuff again because that was
Hmm.
fun. Uh, my main introduction to her was like Dozer's like Tank Prism list, if you've seen that floating around, where it's just like
Oh yeah,
kind of block all game and just be
yeah,
kind of a nuisance.
yeah. Well, that's
Um,
I was gonna say this new prism definitely is a nuisance. Like,
yeah.
the fact that there's all these alternate ways to put things in Soul now, and then you directly get benefit for doing that, and then all the figments themselves are like quite reasonable to play, but then their angels are like even better, and yeah, she's just gonna be a menace. I can feel it.
Yeah. I know, I was like, it sounds fun, but then I'm also looking at like Viscerant and I'm like, ooh, or Vincent, and I'm like, ooh, that looks really fun. Like
Yeah,
I like the idea of like, oh, did you take damage this turn? You're gonna get a lot of extra effects because of that.
yeah. You were actually talking about how sometimes you will stay up late at night and just think about a deck list that has been
Yeah.
tormenting you, and that's how I felt with Vincent lately. Is just that like she seems so cool, and I'm so excited to play her, but she seems so hard to like actually figure out.
Mhm.
I am just yeah. It's just already I'm kind of out of my depth in terms of deck building in the first place, and then just the proportions are gonna have to be so precise for her to be reasonable at all. Because you have to have
Yeah.
so many new moving parts, and like she's strong.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, but like yeah, you're gonna. I think she's only gonna be as strong as the way the deck is built. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know like I was trying to find like some stuff on her cards, but I'm also trying to stay like slightly out of spoiler season to like have some surprise when opening boxes. But I'm like, I feel like none of her cards have like inherent go again. And it's not
That
like Chain where she's just like, give it go again.
that is a huge thing. Did you get a chance to see my spoiler?
Yeah. Yeah,
The
I did
dimensional
watch yours because I
vortex?
was like,
No,
yeah.
don't worry about it. What I was gonna say is that card is truly the strangest card I've ever seen, and the whole thing about having an unconditional arsenal removal is like super cool, but not having go again, having no block, no pitch, and costing 3 is kind of like a perfect example of what Vincent is in that like she's powerful, but there's some hoops you have to jump through, and it's trying to
Yeah.
decide if those hoops are worth it. Viz also seems sweet. The new legendary is kind of incredible.
The Arcane Barrier one, where it's like Arcane Temper, or
Yeah.
was there a different one?
No, that I think that card is pretty strong,
Yeah.
especially for Viz, who you just
Mhm.
kind of want a little bit of a fridge, and Aether Ironworks like Aether Ironworks definitely I like having the resources, but like just that extra life is just so good. I'm really
Oh
interested in
yeah.
seeing what people do with it. But yeah, have there been any cards that have really stuck out to you, like what you're excited about?
Ooh.
You
That's
said
where I'd have to like
Prism.
go deeper into the spoilers. Yeah, I always like the idea of like the angels, like when we first saw that from like the first couple of articles they came out with. I was trying to
Yeah.
like reach out to LSS, be like, hey, you got any like angels out there that I could, cosplay as, do something fun with that? And they were like, get out of here, you goblin.
Yeah. Well, do you have any? Are you like inspired to try and cosplay any angels now that you've seen some of them? Are there any that like really stick
I
with you?
I'd have to look at their art again to
Hmm.
really see. But what I really want to do is make like fully like actuating wings.
Oh
So
wow.
get like yeah, just get like a power pack, like a door opener kind of thing, and just have like the wings actually like um go in and out, and just be like, all right, I'll try and walk into a con floor with this and not hurt myself or someone else.
What is the so like I mean you said you've done a lot of really cool amazing cosplays. But what is kind of the one that you're most proud of? What has really stuck with you, do you reckon?
See, that's a tough one because it's kind of a toss up between the Viz and like the Shaco. Because
Hmm.
Viz was just like so out of my comfort range of the only time I'd used Warbler before that was for like Shaco's mask and like shoulder pads. And that's like, all right, time to make a full suit of armor out of this.
What is
I'm
it called
like,
again?
Warbler,
What is Warbler?
Warbla. It's a thermoplastic. So essentially you heat it up and then it
Oh,
becomes like moldable.
I see. Yeah,
It's like,
very cool.
yeah. If you've ever like redone like counters in your house, it's like what they use as like a basically like a separator between like the wood and like the granite kind of thing.
Oh,
At least
okay.
that's what it was like original purpose was.
Yeah, that's some serious some serious stuff then to make your armor out of. How heavy is it?
It's actually not too bad. It's pretty lightweight because it's like wood filler and glue almost is almost what it like
Mm,
is akin to. So I think the entire suit of armor was between like was around like maybe 20 pounds. So it
okay.
actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I mean, it was no portal gun.
Yeah, exactly. Probably weighed about as much as the portal gun, it felt like.
Yeah. But not on one specific part of your body, rather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Okay.
could never take it outside in Arizona because if it gets like too hot, it'll actually start like almost melting,
Oh,
or it'll just become
really?
like super malleable and just like start like weighing down on itself.
Oh no, yeah. So
Yeah.
you just need to stay in an air
Yeah,
conditioned room the whole time.
exactly. Unless you want like a really melty viscera. It'll be like,
Yeah.
why is he growing?
That might be the next
Yeah,
set.
yeah, there we go.
I don't know where Viscerai's story is gonna lead, but you know, he is in Erathiel now, so he could just completely melt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to finally get like the resolution of like the Dusk Till Dawn or Monarch, trilogy, where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, we got the third set coming at some point.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
2025 now or something.
I think so.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean I am really excited about it. I think some of their best sets have just been just like the straight up Monarch sets in terms of
Mhm.
flavor and just like what they're doing. Just really good. It's just incredible.
Oh yeah. They're
Um
also like the most beautiful sets where you're just like, if I had to pick a set just to like get an art collection of, it'd be Monarch or Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. It's definitely got some of my favorite art in the game, which is something that like I mean, you as a like cosplayer, the art must be really like, you know, you kind of just notice it a lot very quickly. But yeah, they just really knock it out of the park with this, and I think it's just like maybe a good theme or they've just got a lot of inspiration, but it's quite a fun idea. I just really like it.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and each piece is like unique as well, where none of the art is, copy paste the same. Like with like One Piece we were talking before, where half the art is like screen grabs from the anime or like from the manga kind of thing. You're like, no, every Flesh and Blood card is going to be somewhat unique. And usually you can find something in there that's like, ooh, I want to cosplays this, or like, oh, that's a cool detail that I didn't notice.
Yeah, yeah, it's been very very fun. I really like it. Uh, so what else? You don't make content at the moment. You do make a lot of really cool cosplays, and then like you usually go to some of the bigger tournaments and stuff. But
Mhm.
have you had to play around with? You were talking about wanting to make more cosplay, or
Yeah.
sorry, more
But
content.
yeah. Yeah, but wanting to do more content, I know like the biggest thing for me is kind of that like mental roadblock of like, oh, but I feel like everyone has already done everything for Fab where you're like trying to look in different places and being like, oh, where can I squeeze in that's not trying to overlap on someone else?
Yeah,
Or even content in general.
yeah. I think the idea that nothing is original and what is original is your specific interpretation of it is very very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just kind of like picking something that you personally enjoy and then running
Mhm.
with it. Like I really like this Photoshop thing. I find it really cathartic and interesting, and then I love talking to people. So this was kind of a good fit for me specifically. Um, but you know, uh, maybe you could do cosplay. You could do the UPF stuff. There's a
Yeah.
growing amount of UPF interest, right? Um,
Yeah. I've noticed like our local scene has even started growing with it where they're like, if we're ever at events together, we'll sit down and have like 12 of us trying to play UPF at a table.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we took over one of like the like Hyatt lobbies with like 18 of us and we're just like sitting in a big line and
Yeah.
then, like half of them were Kano players, so they created like the Kano Association and we're like, all right, we have to take out everyone else before the Kanos can attack each other.
I
So
mean,
then,
I love
the
the
Reinars
truce.
are getting together. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's wild. That's so many people.
Yeah.
Ah, goodness. Are you excited for the PvE then?
Oh yeah. Those are the main cards I'm looking out for at the moment where I'm like, ooh, what can I have? Like I want any little tidbits of PvE.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole party mechanic seems really cool. I also like the diplomacy card. I think that's
Mhm.
quite a fun idea. And it seems maybe a little bit of a niche card in terms of like the actual more traditional gameplay formats in terms of like it's good against Runeblade specifically. It's good
Yeah.
against mostly Runeblade. But you know, I'm also just very excited to see what that means for playing with multiple people and
Oh yeah.
PvE. We're hopefully going to get that next year, right?
I think that's their timeline on it was either like late this year or like early next year.
Yeah.
But I know like some fan projects have started with PvE. They had like some vendors that were like selling like pre-con almost like PvE decks
That
that were
sounds
just
sweet.
like fan made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that a lot.
And they were pretty cool. It's like, oh, here's a Shadow Warrior that's like the big end boss and like dungeon mechanics and all this weird stuff. And I was like, I wish I could play, but they're like, we sold out. Here's their like business card. Go find them. Oh, I'm loving it.
I've sent you, yeah. So I've
Yeah.
I've finished with it. I got a little bit deep in the sauce, so this is a little bit of a longer one. But
Oh, you're good.
yeah, hopefully uh you get a little bit of joy out of it. There was a lot
Yeah.
to play around with here.
Yeah. I was like just taking a bunch of photos and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna throw them all your way and kind of wish you luck there. I
Yeah.
love the dory floating in the background.
Yeah, I had finished a few minutes ago and then I was like something feels like it's missing, and you
Yeah.
know, Dory's an important part of of this
Yeah.
game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up around here. This is your time. Give us a plug. Where
Oh
can we
no.
find you? What's something that
Yeah.
you wanna do? Let us know.
Alrighty. Yeah, my name is Anthony. Like it was said before, I'm FIRERIN. You can find me at FIRERIN underscore on Twitter, as well as FIRERIN on YouTube. Hopefully we'll start making some FAB content here in the future that you can look out for. Yeah, I guess find me there and might see you guys in the future on some UPF videos.
Sweet. Yeah, show us that show us the Cavdine list that won you the gold foil silver palms.
Yes,
Awesome. Well,
there we go.
it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining us.
yep, thank you.